Everyone thinks they understand South Korea now.
K-pop, Squid Game, Samsung,
Boba tea and skincare and neon lit streets at 2 a.m.
Korea is everywhere. Korea is cool. Korea is understood.
Except it isn't.
Because there's a version of Korea that doesn't show up in the algorithm. That doesn't travel well. That foreigners, even ones who've been there, still completely miss. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with the most obvious blind spot. K-pop is not Korean culture. It's a product made from Korean culture, refined, packaged, and shipped to the world with extraordinary precision. The same way Hollywood is not America, K-pop is not Korea. Real Korean culture lives somewhere else entirely. It lives in a concept called Nunchi, the ability to read a room, sense what's unspoken, adjust yourself before anyone has to ask. Koreans develop this from childhood.
It's social sonar.
And it governs almost every interaction in ways that no music video will ever show you. It lives in a hierarchy so embedded that the language itself changes depending on who you're talking to. Not just formally, structurally. The words physically change. Respect isn't a choice in Korea. It's grammar. And it lives in Jeong, a feeling that has no English translation. Somewhere between attachment, affection, and a bond that forms not from love at first sight, but from time.
From shared meals. From showing up.
From being present long enough that something invisible grows between people. K-pop gave you the performance. Korea is holding the real thing just behind it. Foreigners land in Seoul and they're surprised.
People are helpful.
Service is incredible. Strangers go out of their way. And they leave thinking, Koreans are so warm and open.
They're not wrong.
But they're also not seeing the full picture. Korean warmth has a structure. There is an inside and an outside. And what you experience as a foreigner, the hospitality, the generosity, the helpfulness, is often the outside of that structure. Getting inside the circle is a different experience entirely.
It takes time. It takes loyalty.
It takes showing up when it's inconvenient. And once you're in, the commitment is total. Koreans don't do casual inner circles. If you are truly close to a Korean person, they will show up for you in ways that will genuinely change your understanding of what friendship means. But most foreigners never get there. They experience the outside and mistake it for the whole. Now here's the part that most foreigners see, admire from a distance, and completely misread.
The pressure.
Korea runs on pressure the way other countries run on oil. Academic pressure that starts before kindergarten. Hagwons, private academies, that run until 10, 11 p.m. for children who already did a full school day. Sky University admissions that can feel like a single exam deciding the entire trajectory of a life. Then military service.
Then the job market.
Then marriage timelines. Then appearance standards that are not gentle suggestions. Foreigners look at this and say one of two things. Either, that's brutal, said from a safe distance. Or, that's why they're so advanced, said with a kind of uncomfortable admiration. Both responses miss the point. This pressure didn't come from nowhere. It came from a country that was completely destroyed within living memory. The Korean War ended in 1953 with a peninsula in rubble. Within one generation, Korea became one of the most technologically advanced, economically powerful nations on Earth. That doesn't happen through comfort. The pressure is the memory of what happens when a nation is weak. It is collective survival instinct, encoded into parenting and education and work culture.
It is not cruelty.
It is not dysfunction, or not only dysfunction. It is the people who decided at a national level that what happened to them would never happen again. Understanding that changes how you see the pressure entirely. There's a phrase every foreigner learns within their first week in Korea.
빨리빨리.
Pauly. Hurry, hurry.
And from the outside, it's fascinating. Everything in Korea is fast.
Construction. Delivery. Internet speed. Decision-making.
You order food and it arrives before you finish thinking about whether you were hungry. Foreigners find this charming.
Efficient. Almost funny.
But Pauly isn't a personality quirk. It's a national wound that became a national superpower. Speed was survival. When you are rebuilding from nothing, when the world is watching, when you have decided that weakness is no longer an option, you move fast because slow means falling behind, and falling behind has a cost your grandparents already paid. The speed built the country. The speed also runs through people in ways that are not always healthy. Burnout in Korea is not a wellness conversation topic. It is a structural reality. The same force that constructed entire cities in years rather than decades also asks human beings to operate at a pace that the body eventually refuses. The foreigner who calls Korea impressive from the outside and the Korean who feels the weight of it from the inside, they are both right. That's the complexity foreigners miss. Here is the thing that will shift your understanding of modern Korea more than anything else. The miracle is real. And it is fracturing in real time. Korea has one of the lowest birth rates on Earth. Not low, historically low. A generation that sacrificed enormously, that studied and worked and competed and built something genuinely extraordinary. That generation's children are saying, we will not do this the same way. They are not having children because the cost of raising a child to the standard Korean society expects is prohibitive. They are not marrying at the rates their parents did. They are opting out of systems that ask everything and are no longer certain to deliver the stability they once promised. And alongside this, the elderly poverty rate in Korea sits around 40%. Among OECD nations, that number is almost without parallel. The same grandparents who worked the miracle, who rebuilt the country with their hands and their sacrifice. Many of them are living in conditions that would shock anyone who only sees the glass towers of Gangnam. There is a Korea of extraordinary modernity and global influence. And there is a Korea of immense, quiet strain.
Both are real.
Both exist at the same time.
On the same streets.
What foreigners usually get is the skyline. What they miss is the conversation happening beneath it, a country negotiating, in real time, what it is willing to keep carrying and what it has decided to finally put down. That conversation is the most important story coming out of Korea right now. And most of the world is still watching the performance. Korea is not what the algorithm shows you. It is older than its technology, deeper than its aesthetic, more complicated than its success story, and more human than its pressure would suggest. It is a country that survived everything, invasion, occupation, war, poverty, and responded by building something that stunned the world. And now it is asking itself, quietly and urgently, what comes next? If you've ever felt drawn to Korea, beyond the music, beyond the food, beyond the surface, this is why. You're sensing something real underneath. A people with Jeong deep enough to reshape how you understand loyalty. A culture with Nunchi sharp enough to make you reconsider how you read every room you walk into. And a national story still being written, in real time under pressure with everything at stake.
That's South Korea.
And most foreigners still don't see it. If this made you think differently about Korea, share it with someone who needs to see it. And if you want to go deeper on the stories the world is missing, subscribe. There's more coming.